everyone, and welcome to this session. My name is Steffen Reister, and I want to show you some proven resource and cost management solutions based on Project Server or Project Online together with some TBG tools. I'm the product manager of TBG and want to guide you through this presentation today. Let's start with the project management landscape and a little overview of what we all know, but I want to start my presentation with that. These kind of reports, what you can see in the schematic way, is basically everything what should come out of an enterprise-wide project management solution. At the end, we want to have these fancy reports and deliver them to the decision makers. Where does this come all from? We have projects and projects lists. We have a resource pool with several teams in a big company, and below that obviously we have single projects, and these single projects are doing their normal work. They are planning tasks, they are doing risk management, they plan their resource allocation, and doing status reports and milestone trend analysis and all this kind of stuff. So what else they do is they exchange resources with or from teams, which means usually projects in big companies are getting resources from different teams, and very often the resource managers are the head of the resources, and projects are requesting these resources. On the other side, there is some exchange with controlling, where controlling is the head over budgets of they are collecting work numbers, they are doing the invoices and all the stuff projects have to deal with, and have to exchange also values out of their projects into ERP systems. So let's talk a little bit about key processes, roles and tools, and we focus in this presentation on resource management, so we want to focus also on the roles which are involved in this. To cover this topic, we have discovered four main roles for this work. These are obviously project managers and resource managers, but also portfolio managers who are doing portfolio controlling and having the overview over the entire project landscape. And on the other hand, we have the controller who is controlling all the things and managing the ERP systems. All of them, or nearly all of them, are working somehow with Microsoft Project. If we look at project management, but they are the controllers usually working in ERP systems like SAP or Dynamics. For 3 of these roles, we have additional tools to make their life easier in their job and what they have to do. So we have for these roles different tools in addition to Microsoft Project Server to support their work. Behind the scenes, we have a tool called TBG PS Link, which do some data exchange between these roles and tools, so that everyone is talking about the same numbers and not having his own numbers, which are totally different from the rest of the world. So let's start with project managers. Project managers have project requests. Resource managers are planning the resource capacity of their teams, and based on the capacity and the project requests, portfolio manager can commit projects and say, okay, we can do these projects in that time frame. Between project managers and resource managers, we have usually a personal request commitment exchange. So projects are requesting resources from teams, and the team managers or resource managers will commit resources based on their availability. The exchange from resource managers to controllers is about operational work, which has nothing to do with projects, but it covers obviously the capacity of the resources. And from projects, we have to deliver forecasts into ERP systems where the controlling has to plan the next year or the next fiscal year. And sometimes, if not collected in project server, there have to be get back actuals to the resource or the project managers in terms of, for instance, in projects we are talking about invoices coming for the projects which cover the costs of the projects, and for resource managers we have, for instance, actuals which are not planned in project server, like operations and etc. So before we can do all this, we have to do a little bit of maintenance work in project server. First thing is we need to maintain the resource pool. Usually we have a system in place which can be SAP, Oracle, Active Directory, LDAP, or other systems where we get all the necessary resource information from, which we then deliver into project server and set up the resource pool by using a tool called Resource Link, which is an interface software which is created to directly automatically maintain the resource pool in project server, and not doing this work twice, which is already or a second time, which is already done in another system. Also, we have some maintenance or maintenance work on project metadata, like activity types, cost centers, project master data, WBS codes, cost breakdown structures. All this has to go into project server, into custom fields and lookup tables to make the projects reportable against ERP systems and other reports which are there to control projects and all this project work. Okay, let's come to the actors in resource management. On the top we have decision makers which can come from the PMO, and these decision makers are mainly interested in rough overview over running projects and new projects which have to be controlled against capacities of resources and budgets given by the company itself. So in that case, it's more or less a rough overview, aggregated information on project level, aggregated information on resource level, aggregated information on budget level, to see what can be done in what time. The next actors are resource managers and controllers, who are giving resources or budgets or costs to projects and interested in actual plans of the projects. Down there we have project managers, which are obviously doing the project planning work. They have to interchange with projects. So let's say there are master projects and sub-projects, so there are some interchanges between these projects, and that is also a very important role in resource management. Below the projects, we have obviously the team the team members who are doing the work, and they probably doing this below planned task level in projects. So they have actions, task lists, whatever in teams where they plan the work, maybe also estimate the work, setting status like this task is done, this is open, this has to be reviewed, whatever, dependent on the kind of work management companies have in place. And for all, we need to have processes that they are all work on the same process, and they do not work against each other. So let's come to the first or the first role we want to cover with the tool, and these are we call them decision makers, which can be a PMO, which can be a portfolio manager, and for now we want to call him a portfolio manager. This portfolio manager has a certain kind of question against a project portfolio. What he wants to see is which new projects can be started and when. So what he wants to see is the resource allocations on running projects, so that he see where do I have free time. He wants to see which requests or how many requests are coming from new projects. He wants to see that all on an aggregated level, means he's not interested in task details or detailed plannings on the projects. He wants also not to see single persons in his portfolio. He wants to have this aggregated by skill or team, for instance, to prepare high-level decisions of what can we do in the company. Also, he needs to manage priorities of projects, especially when he has to decide which projects have to be moved or deactivated or postponed or whatever. This all is something he has to do in his main work. Also, he obviously wants to see the changes of what he has done in multiple resource histograms. So at the end, what he's doing is he's moving projects according to resource availability. How can this work? Let's have a look in a schematic presentation where we have projects from project server coming into a particular in a project professional plan, where we can see running projects having an impact on the teams or the skills, whatever you want to see, in terms of capacity. And then we add some new projects, and we want to see the difference between new and running projects, obviously. So the light colors are about new projects. And now the big question is which project can be moved. Okay, we have priorities here. Project C is low priority. So the question is, how far do we have to move this into the future so that we can remove the over allocations of the two teams? So just move a bar in a Gantt chart to see what the impact is on resource availability. And based on that, we can say, okay, move this project to that certain date, and we will be fine with our resource capacity, except a little gap right at the end, but maybe we can do there some resource hiring to cover this little gap as well. So this is a tool is running in Project Professional and covers aggregated data. Here you have a screenshot of TBG Portfolio Planner within Project Professional, which shows exactly what you have seen before, and it uses the entire capability of Project Professional in terms of moving bars, adding resources, doing all the stuff you are used to do in Project Professional, to see how this can solve your problems in terms of resource allocation. The next actors we want to cover is resource managers and project managers. And here we have two different presentations, because these are mainly the main roles in question of resource management in project organizations. So what kind of question are coming from a resource manager? He wants to have a complete overview over his team utilization. What are my resources working on? What are the upcoming project requests? What are the absences of my resources? What line activities, non-project work, are reducing project availability? And please show project availabilities for my team to so that I can fulfill the upcoming project requests. To cover this topic, we have to look quickly at different types of organizations. What we discover is that we have two different kinds of main kinds of organizations in enterprises. One is line organization and the other is the matrix organization. And what we find is that a line organization behaves differently as a matrix organization. In line organization, we have teams who deliver results to projects. Projects are mainly planning on a higher work package level, and teams are planning on a detailed task level, but both of them are working in Microsoft Project. Differently in matrix organizations. Here the projects are requesting resources from teams, and these team managers are committing resources to the projects, but these teams are not planned on task level, they are only planned on project level, and the projects are planning down to the task level. So for these two different approaches, we have also two different tools. For the line organization, we have a tool called TBG Project Link, and for matrix organizations, we have a tool called TBG Team Manager app. Let's have a quick look at the line organization, because I want to go a little bit more deeply into the matrix organization. In a line organization, we have projects planned on high level, maybe with a generic resource as a placeholder for a team planned. Below that, we have also project plans, but we call them more or less team plans, and these are planned by team managers who are covering the work of their team. So let's say task number 1 from project A is requesting work and time from team A. So Project Link transports the key information of that task down into this team plan, where the team manager then is planning this work on a detailed level and assigns resources to these tasks. The aggregated information then is transferred back into the project plan, and gives the project manager an idea of what comes out of the detailed planning from the team. This is something what the team manager does on several projects, and the same also happens for other tasks in the same project from a plan from other teams. So this is an approach for line organizations where we transfer just information between projects to give everyone the information he needs to cover his work. Let's have a look at the matrix organization. And here we talk mainly about project availability. When we talk about project availability, we have two actors. One is the project manager and one is the resource manager. So the project manager is covering projects. He has requests to teams, and these requests are going against the resource capacity, which is controlled by the resource manager. So what is the resource manager usually doing before he can commit these requests from project managers? He has to see what is the project availability of his resources. For that, he has first to plan non-project work like absences, like general operations, which can be team meetings, etc., or individual operations where a resource is doing maintenance work on a running product, for instance. This comes out with a project availability, and this is exactly what the resource manager needs to know to commit people to projects. And here we can see, okay, he now can commit, for instance, for project A, the full request, which comes up with a green traffic light. Then he can see, okay, I cannot fulfill everything of project C and B, so B gets a little bit less, which comes up with a yellow traffic light, and project C then is obviously doesn't have enough resource availability to cover everything which is requested from project C. So for the resource manager we have two main informations. One is what about the the complete allocation of my resources, which is more than just project work. And also I want to see could I fulfill every project requests, or do I have some gaps here? Same on the project manager side. The project manager wants to see, do I get all I have requested, or are there some areas of discussion where we have to talk about? So usually in these matrix organizations we have project managers who are requesting resources from multiple teams, and the big question is, how do these people come into project plans? And therefore we have split up project plans and team manager plans, and we take both numbers, so the requested numbers out of projects and the commitments from team managers, compare these two values, and then show them in a traffic light view. How does this work out? Resource requests and commitments. We start in a project plan where a project manager plans a project and assigns maybe generic resources which are placeholder for teams, which comes up in a resource usage view in project. So this has to be published, so therefore we need to have project server, and then the team manager comes in place. The team manager first has to load resources with their entire capacity from the resource pool. Then he loads the projects who are requesting hours from his team. But before he can commit this, he has to plan some non-project work like absences, like operations, and all this reduces the resource availability, the project availability. Then he probably has already committed some another project, and he also commits some hours to project X. And here you can see the first information for the resource manager is very important. He can see the allocation of a single resource based on traffic light. He can see, okay, how is my resource allocated, also the second one. And in addition to that, he can also see how is it in terms of the request of the projects, and could I commit everything or do I have some gaps there? So this is something which then should be published to the projects so that the project manager can see also what the resource manager has done with his requests. So let's change again the site and go to the project manager. The project manager now gets a tool within his project in project server, which is called the Team Link app, which is the opposite side of the Team Manager app, and basically shows exactly the same what the Team Manager sees. It shows the requests, which are the planned values from the project, and the commitments, which are the planned values from the Team Manager plan. So, and now the project manager can replace generic resources by the given resources from the team, which then come up with we have a gap in February and March where we have to talk about, so that we can find a solution for these 2 months to fulfill the work in the project plan. Maybe hire people or ask another team or whatever. So for this approach we have two different solutions. One is Team Link app and Team Manager app are existing in Microsoft SharePoint. Both of them are apps where Team Link app is usually in a PDP, acts like a web part, and Team Manager app is an app running in a team site where team managers have access to, and they do their normal team planning work. The second solution is we call it the Team Link add-in because it's a COM add-in running in Microsoft Project Professional. And here we have one advantage, and this is that we can do changes in a project and compare directly in the Team Link add-in how this will affect the differences between requests and commitments. Here is a screenshot of Team Manager app, how the Team Manager sees it in a team site. Here you can see a team called Team Services with 6 resources and a generic resources. You can see the first half of the year all the resources are very well planned, and in the second half of the year we have a lot of availability, but we have also a lot of unplanned projects. As you can see above the team, you can see aligned projects where you can see the requested hours to the team, and once we come up in the year you can see there are red color means there are a lot of hours not committed by the team manager, so here has to be done something that these project get also resources. Down below we see a detailed view of the resource Sabrina, where you can see what is she planned on. She's planned on some vacation, she's planned on some other absences, she has some general operations, there is one off-site meeting, there is a team meeting monthly, or 8 hours a month, probably every week 2 hours or something like that. There might be some trainings. She has some individual operations like application A, where she's working on, and she is committed to project A and to project B. So let's go to the opposite side, to the TeamLink app. Here we see a screenshot of project A and the TeamLink app running in a PDP. And here you can see exactly what we have seen before in the team manager. We have Sabrina with some requests, which are the values from the project plan, and we have some commitments. And as you can see, here are differences in May and June, where requested is 128 hours in May, but the team manager has only committed 80 hours, but he committed the rest of these 128 in the next month. So if the project manager is doing a little bit of replanning, if possible, we can get all of this screen as well. All right, let's come to the last part of our presentation, which is also something which covers resource managers and project managers. And here we're talking about high-level planning or budget or cost planning. So again, let's start with the project manager, but some of these work can also be done by the resource manager. For small projects, sometimes no project professional is needed, but because a project professional is too massive in what the capabilities are, and the project managers need an easy tool like Project Web App. But there is also a need for time-phased planning, cost resource planning, multi-currencies and exchange rates, and different other things which are needed, and it should be easy, it should be in browser and so on. Also, sometimes we have kind of work package planning below MS Project tasks, which means we need an easy tool where we just can assign people and plan some hours without having all the fancy functionality of project. Also sometimes, and this is more or less a resource manager role, where resource managers need to plan cost centers in terms of budgeting their teams, their departments, whatever. And sometimes there is need for a budgeting of large projects. All of this can be covered by our tool called TBG Project Planner. Here you have a schematic view of Project Planner, where you can see several things. We can plan named resources. We can plan teams. We can plan cost resources. We have custom fields to maintain these projects or tasks or assignments. We have editable lines for work resources, and the cost will be calculated based on resource rates. We have editable cost lines if we plan cost resources. And also we have planned values against actual values when we get these back, for instance, from project server or from another system where we have actual collection. So this is a tool which works in the web, and I want to show you a screenshot here. It's very much Excel-like. It has a time scale where you can add work based on FTEs or hours. This is just a setting. You can have a big overview over your project. You can budget your project in a very easy and comfortable way within SharePoint. And as you can see, there is just one ribbon which has all the functionality in it, and makes life easy for resource managers and project managers. The last part of this presentation covers the interaction between project managers and team managers, or project managers and all other project stakeholders. So here we're talking about different things, and especially we're talking about what are the details below my work packages tasks in my project. From a point of view, from a project manager point of view, these details shouldn't really impact or blow up the project plan. What we know about work estimation is that the best work estimation comes from the person who is doing really the work, which are basically the team members and not the project managers very often. Tasks are often more detailed than you want to plan them in Project Professional. Work items can be managed by teams, for instance in an agile way, for instance Scrum teams. Project managers may only want to have a rough overview within the project plan, not every detail, which is managed by different teams. And for that we have a tool called Project Details. With Project Details we can import things which belong to a project, which are necessary to know by the project manager without putting them directly into the project plan and doing things which a project professional is not made for. What details do we have outside projects? First, there are standard things from project server like risks, issues and documents. Then sometimes we have additional SharePoint lists like to-do lists below project tasks and so on. And sometimes we have other SQL data sources where we have information which are belonging to a project, like cost information, invoice information, whatever. For now we want to cover, and all of this should somehow be visible in the project plan without blowing up the project plan. For now we want to cover the one case, and these are additional custom to-do lists in SharePoint which are covering detail planning below the tasks in a project plan. And exactly that should be seen in the project and somehow also be manageable by the project manager. So for that we have an add-in which runs in Project Professional called TBG Project Details, and there you can have different information. In the background you see there are also risks, issues and documents, but we are covering this to-do list out of SharePoint where let's say different resources are planning different actions below task number 4. And in that case they have also a work estimation for these tasks. All of them belong to task 5, so they will be seen there because we have selected task number 4. And the sum of these tasks are, for instance, 105 hours. But estimated in the plan is 80 hours. That was a rough estimation by the project planner. by the project manager, and this now should be overwritten by a better realistic estimation by the people who are doing the work. So somehow we need to override these 105 hours in the estimation field of task number 4. And this is exactly what project details does. It takes information from outside a project plan, and on defined ways we can bring these information into the project plan, let things be there where they are planned, and just transferring necessary things into the project plan. So that was the presentation of our tools, which are covering resource management in a very proven way. All of these tools are used by several of our customers, and if you have more interest on it, you want to have more information and maybe a live demo, please contact us on the www.theprojectgroup.com or write us a mail. I thank you so far, and have a nice rest of the conference, and I'm looking forward hearing from you if you are interested in more information.